Hi, it's Lucy Edson here for Cocoa Daisy. I just really enjoyed working with the April kit and wanted to share with you a technique of how I created a background in this layout that I've called Two Sweet Smiles. I love this photo of my daughter and one of her friends from school, and I just wanted to create a textured background to really accent, let the photo stand out with the beautiful colors that came in the kit. I've taken the paper, the Seven Gypsies paper from the kit, and torn strips and applied it to a cardboard backing, layered some gesso and molding paste, and then I added some stamping and additional elements to finish this off. So I'm going to be showing you step by step how I created this, and so let's head into the studio. Thanks. Okay, to get started on my project, I took a piece of cardboard from the packaging box and I cut it down to a 12 by 12. I left one edge with a rough corrugated top because I'm going to layer in some strips when I'm finished. And I'm going to collage some paper onto this and build up a textured mixed media background. I immediately loved the text paper that was in the kit from the Seven Gypsies paper, and I'm going to just kind of tear some strips and I'm going to glue them down to the center. So I'm just going to take it and just tear some strips. And the glue I'm using is just golden soft gel gloss, a gloss gel medium. It could be gloss or matte. And I just like the one thing I would mention is don't ever use a good brush when you're using any kind of gel medium or glue, because you're not going to get it off later completely out. So I always keep an old brush just for that. And I'm going to start just by coating the back of the paper with a thin coat of gel medium. And I'm going to apply it on. And I'm going to set it in a little ways because I want to kind of make a frame in the center. I'm just going to keep applying the strips. You also could just kind of glue right onto the paper, or onto the background, and just smooth it down each time. I have my helper helping me. Emma's here, assisting. She loves to help in the craft room. So I'm going to keep gluing the strips all the way across the page and finish off with a thin coat of the gel on the top. And that will seal the paper so I can paint on top when I'm finished. So I'm going to finish gluing all the way across. And then let that dry before I start my paint on top. Alright, my gel medium has dried now, and my collage is finished as far as the paper. Just to kind of soften and start blending the background, to add another layer, I'm going to add some gesso over that. And gesso is it's made from acrylic. It's like similar to white acrylic paint, except it usually has a little more texture, and I think it's a little more, it's chalkier normally, so I like it because you can build texture, and it'll kind of sink into the crevices of the papers. Because where the papers are torn, there is still some depth and difference in the area. So I'm just going to take some gesso and just kind of smear it on, really making sure I get it into the little cracks of the paper, and just keep working it around. And no, I'm not going to coat the entire part. And actually, whenever I get about this much on, I'm going to let it kind of dry for a little while, sit up a little bit, and then I would take a baby wipe and just kind of come in and wipe away part of it. Not all of it, but just some, just to clean. And you can really wipe because the gel medium sealed off the paper below, so you're not going to have it ripping the paper underneath the gel medium, because the gel medium's dry now. So I'm going to leave part of it completely covering, and then reveal some below, and just continue working over the entire piece. In the bottom corners right now, I'm going to put my photo, so I'm going to put the gesso a little heavier down here because I want a little more coverage. And come back again, just doing a little more wiping away. I want the text to be more just like to fade into the background and not to be too overwhelming. So I pretty much like that. I'm going to let this dry completely. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more texture to my project, And I'm going to do that with a couple things. I've got some modeling paste. This is by Liquitex that you use with acrylic paints. Golden makes a modeling paste, so a lot of different paint companies do. But it is just a really thick textural product that you can apply to and add some texture. So I'm just going to take it, and this is actually just like a popsicle stick, and I'm just going to kind of smear it in a few areas, and it's kind of like spackle sort of, and I don't want a ton of it. I just want to have a little bit of texture here that's going to kind of stand up, because I'm going to come back and do one more layer of antiquing. My background is completed now, and I've let it dry. You can see how subtle the antiquing is. I didn't want anything heavy. If you wanted it to have more of an aged look, like if you're using vintage photos, you could use a darker paint, and you could use just a regular acrylic paint too and just water it down some. The fluid acrylics are just thinner and they go on really smoothly. I happen to have those on hand, but you could use just regular acrylic paints if you have those on hand. So I'm going to work on this a little more and start putting together my layout on here.